Hey folks, in today's video, I will show you how to install a magnetic weather seal around your entry door to help keep drafts out and energy bills down. Let's get this done.
Be sure to watch this video all the way through so that you learn from any mistakes that I may have made while creating this video.
Okay, so this really applies for steel entry doors, either front door, back door, garage door. You have to have a steel door for the magnet to actually work. If you have a wooden door, if you have a vinyl composite door of some sort, then the magnet is not going to work on your door, and you'll need to look for a different seal to go around. But the magnet is advantageous if you have a steel door because it adheres to the door as you close it and helps create a nice firm seal. All right, so with that said, let's take a look at the tools that we need for this project and the actual replacement strips that I have here, and then we'll get started.
Okay, to begin with, we have needle nose pliers, screwdrivers. We're going to use these three items to help get the old seal out. And we have a brush here. I'm assuming there's going to be some debris in the channels that we need to put the new seal into. So let's use a brush to clean out the channel. And along with that, I have my vacuum cleaner ready to go to help clean out anything that's left in there. We'll use a tape measure to measure out the new pieces, although I will use the old pieces as a template to help me with that. Scissors, we're going to cut our new pieces with scissors. I also have these two tools out in case it is a little bit tricky to get through the magnet part of the strip. And then just in case, I have my hammer and a little block here. If there's any parts of the channel that I can't get the new strip into, I'm going to use this to just gently tap it in with the hammer there. All right, and let's take a look at our new pieces, which I'll have linked below. This is for the top part. Okay, you can see that one is not too long. I believe that one's 36 inches. And then this is our two door jamb pieces. This is the hinge side. Notice that it is not magnetic. All right, so those are our three replacement pieces. Again, I'll have this link below. Okay, this kit does come with directions, front side and back side. Pretty simple. Be sure you measure your own door before you purchase this. Not all doors are the same size, so you might need a kit that's a little bit bigger. Of course, if you get one that's too big, we'll always be able to cut it down.
All right, as you can see, mine has been coming apart for quite some time. Don't let yours get like this. This is well beyond needing to be replaced. I should have done this 2 years ago when I actually got the kit in the mail. It's been sitting in my basement now for almost 2 years. All right, so I'm going to start right at the top here. I'll use my screwdriver to pry that out. All right, I'm just going to pull the magnet off. All right, so here's your magnet right there. You could probably use that for a different project. All right, but let's go ahead and pull this all the way down. Okay, and there's that. So I'll go ahead and clean that out all the way down. Okay, look pretty clean there. After you get it started up top there, that was the difficult part. So you might need to find a different spot that comes out a little bit more easily and then go from there. All right, now I'm gonna work on this top part across. All right, I just got the magnet part there. Back over here. There we go. The seal where the hinges are a little bit different. They're not magnetic. So this one is different as well, and this one is different than the one that I have in the kit. But we're going to remove it exactly the same way. Of course, having the door in the way makes it a little bit trickier here. Nice. All right. Well, that one came out a little bit more ease. Okay, so I have everything cleaned out. I'm going to go ahead and use my brush and brush everything down, and then I'm just going to take a Clorox wipe and try to get as much of the dirt off as possible. This is the piece that I took out from the top, and it's a little beat up. So I will use it to help me measure up there, to use as a template. But I think I will make sure that I measure as well, and then we'll put those two measurements together. Okay, so let's take care of that. Okay, that's looking right at about 35. And if I come down here to my old piece, and I stretch my old piece out as tight as I can here, it's also at about 35. So I'm going to cut mine just a little bit on the other side of 35. And for that, I will use my tin snips. Nothing says a nice clean cut like tin snips do. So there's 35. I want to cut just on the other side of 35. And that magnet cuts pretty easily, so I probably could use the scissors. Okay, so that's still a little bit long. I'm going to cut off just a little bit more. I'll try my scissors this time. Just a little bit more here. Yeah, scissors work well on the magnet. One thing about the profile is that it's not exactly in the center of the magnet. See how it's different there? So insert it into the slot so that the tongue is on that upper part. Okay, and how about I go down this way this time? That, make sure it's all the way down. And it's nice and snug down there, but it's still just a tiny bit long up here, so I'm going to take off another smidgen more. Okay. Cut it just like this. Okay. So now our long piece, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start at the top here, and we'll run it down. We'll cut it at the bottom. Okay. About 77 3/4 there. All right, let's see. Since I know the height here is less than 78, I'm gonna go ahead and cut my strip to right about 78. Okay, you probably noticed I stopped using the old pieces as a template because they were really beat up when I took them off. So I decided just to do the measuring, and then I put things up there, put the strips up there to kind of lengthen as I needed to. Okay, again, make sure that you have this profile, this tongue, in that particular order, and that's going to go start right up here. I'm going to snug that right up against the horizontal piece that I have up there already. Okay, get that up as far as you can. Just press it in all the way down. There is a slight little gap up here, and that's just because this track stops right there. So there's that little gap there. And, you know, I guess that's something we'll have to put up with. Or maybe I'll think of a tape seal to put in there or something like that and keep that out. Okay. Down here I'll start cutting a little bit at a time and see if I can get it in there where it needs to be. Okay, in hindsight, maybe starting down here and going up might be your best bet. All right, this is cut quite close here, and it actually works very fine. I'm going to trim just the magnet part a tiny bit. Otherwise, it's not going to
it's not going to adhere to the door because it's getting caught on the threshold here. All right, so you can see a little bit better here what I'm talking about. I want to keep that part intact right there, but I'm just going to snip just a little bit here so this magnet is nice and free to move in and out of the door. Okay, for this I'll use my tenseness. It's going to give me a little bit more power right on the edge where I need it. All right, wish me luck. I think that worked out quite the way I wanted it to. All right, so far so good. Okay, hindsight being 2020. Again, see how my track stops here, and it wouldn't be able to go any further. So what I will do on this side is notch out a little bit of the track there, so that's going to bring our seal right up to here. Okay, if I had done that on this side, just notched out a little bit of the tongue, I would have been able to slide that straight up there. All right, but I'll figure something out for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and notch this one out. So we need to cut out just about, it's about 1/8 of an inch here. So instead of stopping here where the track stops, which is what happened on the other side, I'm going to cut just a little piece off and it'll bring it right up to there. This is the piece that has no magnet in it all, and it looks like this, just rubber cushion there, okay? And again, we're going to make sure that the tongue, this tongue is on that side so that when you close it, you get a nice seal right in here. Okay, if you do it backwards, the seal is not going to be quite as tight. Okay, so let me take off just a little bit here. Matter of fact, I will use my utility knife. Okay, so this is the profile. That's the little piece that I cut out, and that is going to let me put it right up against the corner here. All right, and yeah, let's go ahead all the way down, and I'll do the cutting at the bottom. Let's go ahead and snug my notch in there. Get started. Okay, and that's nice and tight up there, and then just work our way down. This is all going in pretty smoothly, but if I needed to use my little block here, I could just go to the back here and press it in like that. I would not be able to use my hammer because of the doors here, but if I needed to use my hammer just slightly to tap things in, I would use the block up here, pull this down a little bit, use the block, and then just tap in a little bit. Mine all went in very smoothly, so I did not need that block. All right, let's continue here. We're at the bottom, and here we go again against my better judgment. I'm going to start snipping away down here and then get that tucked behind there. Again, you might want to start at the bottom here and then work your way up, but because I notched out that piece up there, I want to make sure that was nice and tight. And we'll take care of this fuss down here at this point. All right, so I'll just cut away a little bit here. I'm going to leave that there. Okay, now the ultimate test. Let's go outside, close the door, and see how everything seals around the perimeter of the door. All right, so this is how things look finished all the way down. And at the top, that became very nicely fitted right there. So when you do it, make sure you do the same thing on this side, okay? Make sure you get that notch in there, and that'll bring that up in there. Let's go ahead and close the door and see what happens. Okay, so the magnet is working all the way down. All over to the other side. All the way up. Nicely sealed right up in there. And across the top. Okay.
All right, that's my faux pas. Don't do that, all right? Or make it fit better than that is what I'm saying, okay? Do over here what we did over there, and you'll be in great shape.